Another day, another debacle in hotel quarantine. The virus last week jumping from traveller to worker at a hotel in Melbourne and Perth. One new case in each state, two very different responses.
So to reinstate the Black Rock or New Year's Eve settings.
And for Perth?
So beginning at 6 p.m. tonight, the whole Perth metropolitan area will be going into full lockdown.
It was Australia's strongest response to a single case to date. No new community cases were recorded over the lockdown period, so was it an overreaction?
I've lain awake at night worrying about that. Was it an overreaction? I don't think so. I just prefer, if we possibly can, to crush the virus, get it out of our system, and then reopen across the board.
A short, sharp lockdown used before in response to COVID scares in Brisbane and South Australia aims to stamp out a COVID cluster before it takes hold. Epidemiologist and WHO advisor Professor Mary-Louise McLaws believes it's a case of short-term pain, collective gain, telling 6 News this hard and fast approach should have been used from the beginning.
They have learnt that you have to respond very, very rapidly because it takes off. You know, if that analogy doesn't work, then think of a bushfire. And, you know, you get to the size of a bushfire, and if the fire brigade haven't been called out, it's likely to become a fire front.
But experts are at odds as to whether it actually works. Some believe its only benefit is buying contact tracers time.
My own view is I'm not sure the lockdown would have given you that much benefit in the first place. I mean, you really only had one case. And if you've got good case finding and good testing, which you've got in Western Australia, I would have thought all the cases should have been identified from the main source.
Around the world, the reaction to the lockdown in Western Australia has been overwhelmingly positive. A New York Times article described the speed and severity of the response unthinkable to people in the US. Back home, after the virus escaped hotel quarantine, questions have been raised about the system that's supposed to keep COVID out.
The system has worked very effectively up to now and continues to work very effectively.
Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and now Perth have all seen the virus escape hotel quarantine. Calls for an overhaul to the system are mounting. One of the proposals is to move travellers to facilities just like this one in regional areas. A report into the Grand Chancellor Hotel cluster in Brisbane, which sent the city into a 3-day lockdown, failed to find how the virus spread from room to room. Air conditioning and breaches in security ruled out, the report finding it's most likely the virus was transmitted from a surface.
Our quarantine hotels are not hospitals. They were never built to serve this purpose.
Connor Alforque, 6 News.